I've decided I better turn the camera on before I just go inside and get my other roll joint, because I've only got this much left, and I'm like, really don't want to be smoking cigarettes, yeah? Which is why I bought tobacco, so I can roll them, like I said. But this one has weed in it, as does the other real one. Today is, it's been an interesting day, let's say that. So I must have completely just passed out last night. And I obviously don't remember anything about going to sleep, because I got woken up by knocking. And in the first instance, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck, it's the middle of the night. What, like, who could that be, yeah? And I had totally forgotten. So I asked Andrew to wake me up in the morning, because my son is due tonight, right? But yesterday, I realized something. That is so gross. The realization was that for the first time, in my 6 years at university, there's absolutely no way on this planet that I would have something even half resembling what it's supposed to be like by today. And I had this realization yesterday afternoon. I'm currently having a realization that I came out here to smoke back because I noticed that the neighbours had gone off on their push bike, so I figured it was safe to come outside and talk to all of you. But it's a lot hotter than I realised, because it got really cold during a period there in the morning, and even though I originally got dressed based on what the weather is, I put way too many clothes on, which I then had to take socks and slippers and hoodies off the moment I came out here. So I'm going to walk back inside and take you all with me. Oh, actually, here's something. I'm gonna pause it and then I'll get back. So I'm back, and I did all the few things I needed to in between, like pee and fill up my soft drink and grab my water bottle. I did not, however, realize just how warm it is, and I think it's a little bit too hot for track pants, but I've also been dithering in between then and now, which was only a few minutes. So yeah, I got woken up by Andrew knocking, which I asked him to do and then just promptly forgot about it. I know that I obviously fell asleep in a very bizarre, I must have just like dropped, passed out without even, preparing myself to go to bed. And the way I know this is because after Andrew left and I came back into my room, so obviously Boss had gotten up at the knocking of the door, and once I realised that it was the morning and that it was Andrew and it wasn't in the middle of the night and I wasn't dreaming, I was able to get Boss into like the living room and shut the door. So Andrew came in and I was just like dead to the world, and I drank an entire coffee while he was here, and he waited until I'd like made the second one and I'd taken my meds just to make sure I didn't go back to bed. And at this point I was saying to him, look, I realised something yesterday, and I think that's where I got to before. And that was that I was fully aware that I literally wasn't going to be able to pull this off. Like, I'm so far past beyond the questions of how or why or what the fuck is happening am I in this situation. But alas, every day, besides the one I basically slept through, it seems, I'm making these videos. So I wrote an email to my unit chair. And now, yesterday when I had the realization, I was like, okay, I'm 100% going to have to apply for special consideration. Because as I've explained, everybody with disability papers in place with a particular condition were granted the automatic 2 weeks extra. So I had those in place anyway. And then obviously I'd asked for a few extra days, given what happened on Friday and all the days in between. Like the compounding of all of what is happening is mind fucking. There is no way, other way to put it. Just what happened on Wednesday with the police alone. And I'm going to call them what they are, a critical incident response team. See, I don't want any of you picturing the normal police. Wasn't them. Yeah? It's enough to make anyone fucking paranoid, and, you know, like have literal PTSD sort of fucking shit happen due to what happened. Now, I'm just sort of in this like, is it because I'm just so fucking used to having complex PTSD? We're just gonna not worry about the fact that that's obviously freaked me the fuck out too. I messaged my landlord today only to be officially told that she's not my landlord, because I was like, she called me on Friday and told me that, you know, they'd be calling me, and I was like, I need to know what the hell is happening right now. Like, I'm in limbo. I'm so at exhaustion level, it's not funny, right? But yesterday, when I realized I was going to have to ask for special consideration by this point, because this, like, the deadline of tonight at 11:59, which is what I was hoping would be happening. Even by the time I had the realization yesterday, it well, obviously, by the time, that's when it happened. Oh my God, this is why I had to ask for special consideration. I can't think straight at all in general. Like, I had to take my freaking expensive, like, pillow thing apart out of the goddamn covers to figure out which one was the high end and which one was the low end, to hopefully put it in some kind of comparison of where my brain is actually at, because I couldn't figure the fuck out. So, special consideration is a completely different thing to asking for an extension. And considering it was due today, it was, tell the story in order, woman. So, I knew I was applying for it, but I also knew, again, like I said, it's a much different, more higher, harder, whatever, experience usually. And you need a lot of written documentations. And because I'd already had to ask for the extra days the first time round, and the response I'd gotten from the unit chair was confusing, and I didn't know if I was again in the same position. Do I apply through the special portal, or do I email, you know, her again like the last few times? So I was always like, I checked it all out, couldn't figure it out. we knew this already. But I knew I needed paperwork. So as soon as I had the realization yesterday, the first thing I did was immediately call my psychologist clinic and tell her to pass on a message to my psychologist that I need to speak to her, like, the sooner the better. If she can't call me in between clients, that's fine, but she absolutely needs to check her email, because, like, we're on a very much ticking down deadline clock, fucking with me and every part of me, right? And like I kind of, like, you could tell, you could say, like, it's very, very important. Now, at this point, I'd already sent a very confusing message to my GP because I was obviously trying to get an appointment with her. But again, deadline. I'm on a deadline. So, I mean, I'm going to take a moment here and just pause and say how flippin' lucky and grateful I honestly know I am for the medical team that I've got, because I honestly don't know anyone who has like professional support in place in the sense like I do, who, for lack of a better way of putting it, literally drop everything to help me, which I've never really consciously thought of before, because without fail, when I need my support, and my two biggest supports are my doctor and my psychologist, they are always there for me. So I immediately messaged my doctor and I was like, you're fully booked out. I cannot get a hold of you. I have to apply for special consideration. Now, I've been speaking to these women, so they're all obviously aware of what's going on. And I was like, I literally have no choice. I, as of right this moment, know for a fact there's no way I'm going to be able to complete this in time. But I needed documentation, like I said, to fucking brain help me. I've like used more energy than I think I actually even had, because the fucking email I wrote, I screenshot it to send to him, to send to Faith. This 4 long screenshot. Long. That's how long it is. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, so I sent the message to my doctor saying, obviously you're aware of what's going on. I do not look at the camera. I do not look at people in the eye. I avert my gaze all the time, and I'm becoming very, very, very aware of it, and I've absolutely no idea why. I might write that down when I watch myself back. So, well, here's a little nifty thing I've done too, right? Because I'm rolling, the green one means weed, and the ones with just a red line, they mean cigarettes. Right, but basically the text was along the lines of, I'm applying for special consideration. D-Day is like immediately. It was today, on the 11th of October. I was like, I need a letter. I'm sending an email. It'll all be in the email. Please just check it. This is important. Yeah. So, like she does without fail, she called me. She always manages to fit me in. And we're not talking just a couple of seconds. We have like a proper consultation. Okay, that's good, because today I said to her, all these messages I send you that are like outside of consultations, I'm hoping you're charging them as is, But yeah, so she rang me and she's like, I really didn't understand your message. She's like, but I'm taking it as you're like, it's bad. And I'm like, yeah. So she wrote me a letter and we worked it out. And I said to her, look, it's not only just like the assignment, and let's face it, I said it in the email, and I've said it to them, and this is because this is what I am literally fucking living with, right? It's like I've been at my desk for days, and I'm just not achieving what I should be because I am so fucking brain dead. Like, my professional medical support leaders literally say that my cognitive abilities at the moment are basically none. And I didn't do that to myself. I didn't ask for this. Like, I mean, I might look like I'm absolutely out of it, and you might think it's because of the weed, but I promise you, I'll hype this beforehand. And it's definitely like, it's just like, it's like even when I lie down, I cannot get myself to relax. I cannot. Maybe I'll experiment with two body muscle relaxers. I've never actually tried all of them otherwise, funnily enough. Anyway, back to my story. So, GP calls, happy to supply the letter, and I say to her, we need to make it like specifically written in a way that they understand why it looks like I'm applying for longer than I should be, on top of how long I've had. Because basically, today is the 11th of October 2022, and it's 4 minutes to 5 in the evening, and oh my god, Brian, please come back to me. Right, yes, doctor. Yeah, I needed the support, so I said to her, right, leader details why. Yep, found it. Okay, good. So basically, today's the 11th, and my exam is fucking literally in a week. Like a week, yeah? So it's not like I can apply for a week's extension, because what really is needed, and thankfully after a whole lot of back and forth, and oh Jesus, I cannot figure out the angle of this thing to serve myself in. Jesus, yeah, my exam's in a week. As we know, my goal, my hope for the best, I don't know any student yet who does this, personally, but I've got from week 6 until week 11 worth of fucking exam shit to go through. And that's just the videos, right? So I don't have to watch them, but like, I've listened to the textbooks a lot, so the videos help me like implement them, because the exam is worth 30% because it's based on 30 questions, but they've made it really clear, like, it's going to be all case study involved. Like, I need to know what the fuck I'm talking about, yeah? And as of right now, I do not. But as I said in the first letter, in the email, my body, like, I'm always saying, you need to follow yourself. It's hard when you have deadlines, but it's like my body, since I've been up, and like, getting up early is great because it took me so fucking long to wake up, and then honestly it took me, I don't even want to think about how long to write the fucking email, because I literally just couldn't function, and it just, yeah. it's honestly in the last hour, I reckon, that I've even had like a tiny bit of energy hit me, but that was probably because. So I took my first two Ritalin when I obviously got up, like around 6:20 or whatever it was. Then I was like at 10:30 ready to just go to sleep, but not of even having finished doing what I need to for uni, and fully at this point being aware that if I don't hear from her, then it means it has to go through whatever the process, and if that happens, I still would have had to spend all of today trying to figure out how to get as much done as I could to submit, because I literally wouldn't have had any choice, because otherwise it would have been just non-submission if I didn't get, or if I was hoping I'd get the approval but then say didn't get the approval and hadn't submitted. So, that's why I don't rush shit. But again, like I said, long fucking email. I did state that right at the start in bold. I'm very sorry this is long, but this is why I'm in this position. And thankfully the letters, right, and the reason I need the letters done, I want to light this. Hold on one second. And I'm using normal filters, not for any other reason except for I like pushing the button and getting half mental. And I would normally roll using Cardis, but considering how much weed I currently have in my actual house, I'm okay with normal filters. So yeah, don't know why I felt the need to explain that, but I was thinking about it outside before. But yeah, but basically what I needed to happen was to be able to just put all of everything to do with assignment number 2 away and not look at it, like not even try to think about it. That's going to be impossible, obviously. Oh my god, I'm fucking craving, I don't even know, everything. Food wise, I should say, I've absolutely no idea what to do for food. None. Like, I'm not even kidding. I have absolutely no fucking treats. I don't plan on doing anything but watching Netflix for the rest of the day. After I actually finish this video. And I'm quite gutted right now, because I don't even have anyone to be like, hey, can you go to the shops for me? And I'm starting to wonder if that might result in ordering food. Anyway, fucking hell. I need to start rolling them differently. I used to always mix my mix. Yeah, that makes sense. And then someone I know was using like rolling machines, which I have to use now too because of my hands. Excuse me. And if you randomly happen to see this one story, I live in severe chronic pain and my hands are always the first to go and usually hurt the most. Therefore, I can't roll myself anymore. So, for some reason, he was like, do half-half or not. Yeah, I do half-half. Some people don't put as much weight as me. I don't know. However much you like it. The point being, put them separate. And that's what I've been doing lately. And I don't know that I think it's working as well. And not in the not sense of not working THC well. I'm talking more about in the actual how the fucking cigarettes burns well. Not well would be what the hell I'm trying to get to. But yeah, anyway, I wanted enough time. See? That one was better. I needed enough time to actually get some fucking work done for this exam. Like, I really hope and fully intend to be all the way through watching the weekly content videos, because I have all of them transcribed and printed out in a booklet, all color separated. I realized the other day with my other notes, with the tabs that I've got, just because they're like normal fucking sticky tab things, they, fall off and fold and bend and blah blah blah. So that could be a good project for today, because that does not take much brain power at all. Everything takes some brain power. Even talking to all of you right now is taking, obviously, energy. What am I trying to say? I need to put the assignment away. I need to have an entire fucking day in bed all day to myself, but technically I'm feeling like, I guess I have to count that as today, which almost is kind of like I feel cheated, which is ridiculous, because I'm absolutely over the moon, fucking so happy and grateful that I was granted the special consideration. So when my doctor and I originally talked about it, right? So, you've no idea how fucking annoying it is, yeah? Having this fucking condition. And it literally hurts to get comfortable. And then you're gonna add on the fucking bladder condition, because by the time I get comfortable, usually that one kicks in. My human self. Ugh. It's no wonder people don't like me. But that's another issue for another day. So, yes, when I spoke to my doctor, because it was obviously yesterday when I had the epiphany, and I was like, fuck me, I don't know. There are too many things happening that I'm one of those fucking people who hates not knowing things, which is ironic, because I consider myself a philosopher, and you absolutely can be a philosopher and a writer and, author, speaker, all sorts of things. Philosophy is literally just asking more questions. Oh, there's so many answers. But, yeah. So I am trying to tell a story that's taking way too fucking long. So, doctor yesterday spoke to her, agreed to write the letter. We discussed a time, and I was like, look, and I said to her, I need from now until the exam, just not even thinking about trimester, like the assignment, because I just can't. If I was going to do that, like, let's face it, it would not have made any sense. I would have been better off just trying to throw something together. Like, I absolutely know that I am capable of writing something half-assed but passable in the state I'm in. It would not be good. It would be quite terrible. This is true. But I don't actually even know how to do that. Like Graham said to me something the other day, and I was like, so many students talk about this, and I don't get it. And it's like, as you get your grades back from assignments and quizzes and whatever, student keep track. Now I used to do that in the start, sure, because obviously as your average mark, as your mark is averaged out, as you continue through the assessments, you can determine what you need to pass the exam by to reach whatever grade overall that you are satisfied with. That is not why I used to keep track of my grades. I find that fascinating. I said to Graham, I was like, why? I was like, so many students do it. I was like, is it because you just want the bare minimum to pass? Is that like you're graduating at the end of this trimester and you're not applying for like further degrees at uni? He's going to continue doing further work, like training stuff, but he's a novelist, so different, yeah. And he's like, yeah, and then he's talking about percentages, this, and this, and how much, and I was like, he's like, aren't you interested? And I was like, no. One, no. The reason I kept track in the beginning was because I obviously aim for 80 and above. I remember getting my first grade that was an 80 and above, and I was just like, in that moment I remember thinking it was either going to be like a perfect run or it was going to happen straight up, so I knew. So up until the end of up until whenever the fuck I did the brain and biology unit, I did truly honestly think that I would never get under a distinction, so that's 70 and above, for a unit ever. But like I said, the special consideration wasn't even considered after what happened during my exam because of like 2 fucking days. Ugh, just doesn't seem real, does it? It's like I was locked in my home for 5 days, unable to get out of bed, unable to eat, shower, or speak to anyone, and just cry and cry and cry and cry. But because it wasn't until out of the special consideration timeline, and we're not talking weeks or months, we're talking days, you can literally see, I can't, obviously, they can. If you had gone into my exam for that unit, honestly, maybe I should email uni. Not now, obviously, fuck no. Put it in a to-do list for down the track when I've at least finished this fucking trimester. And ask them to check, because who in their right fucking mind doesn't select an answer out of a fucking multiple choice question? Someone who can't see through the fucking tears because of an absolutely fucking terrifying panic attack, flashback, PTSD, fucking ADHD crap. now every time I look at the pills that I take, I just think, holy fuck, because Graham takes one, and I know he's taken more in the past and he's worked his way down, and he's just like, I can't wait to never be on them again. And I'm just like, I used to be like you. I'm pretty sure I'm going to continue taking my handful of meds every single fucking morning and night till I die. There are so many fucking things that need to change in my life, but without being able to figure out structure and hours and like regular fucking, I don't know, man. It's so fucking hard to do shit and plan shit and have a real life routine when you live in pain. I've got to figure out how to get the pain managed better. Oh, that's right. Here's an idea. Stay up to fucking date at uni. It's so simple. That's all I have to do. Get up at the same time every day. Actually, honestly, I think when I think about it, and this I think is what makes me the fucking maddest at myself, and it's the part where like, it's difficult because I'm learning to love the child within me, and I'm a sensitive, very easily startled mess at the moment, but I just feel like there's a lot going on. This version of me right now, totally different to who I was, say, 8 years ago. And I'm thinking of the message that I sent Mr. X that summed up how I loved him in a way that I didn't know was humanly possible. And I remember thinking, and at some point saying to him, that will be where I go for when I write my vows to you. So again, totally different story for a very not anytime in the future video, but and it's recent for future lurk. But so my doctor and I discussed to what date, and originally I was like, I need this week to do something about the exams. Like, I'm not feeling panicked about the exam because of how often I've listened to the textbook. And I will make sure that everything is like real easy to find. Like, I was gonna say, I don't think I did that well last time, but like, I don't really remember fuck all about it. But yeah, no, yeah. And I've also seen that there's these like heaps of obviously tips online, and let's face it, it's the start of exam weeks for us. So study week was last week. So not only do I have the content of all the videos to go through, but as I've said, I'm finding helpful very much implementing more info. Thankfully, I've got enough ink and enough paper so that I will print whatever I think I need. Again, and then after that, after the exam, so the exam I will sit on the 18th, and on the 19th I will sleep. Yeah, I might even just put that in my calendar. 19th, sleep, unless I have some appointment or something on. But and then I originally had said to the doctor, because obviously I was doing this all on speakerphone while working out the calendar, I was like, a week from the exam is the 24th. And I was like, so I guess we asked until that. And then I was like, well, since we're applying for special consent anyway, we may as well just make it till the end of the week, which was Friday the 28th. But yeah, so she had sent the first through one. Then I text her about how I was a little concerned about the distinction between why I needed the time, because, you know, for the next week I'm not looking at that assignment, so it's not like I've got 2 weeks for it. I've still only got an extra week. It's just on the other side of the exam, and I really wanted this clarified. And so I said to her, and again, this is all through text message on her personal number, like, she is a godsend, this woman. And yeah, I'd asked if she could. This is where I realized that I'm very, very lucky. I have to remember that. Like, I am extremely lucky in life, and life is just so fucking easy to focus on the bad shit, on the shit that's missing, on the shit that's lacking. And it's like, I might be all sorts of fucking black and blue, both literally and metaphorically, like, but fucking, I know I'm a good person, and I sure as hell know that I'm a fucking better version now than I ever was before. So if I'm this good, imagine what it'll be like in 10 years, or 20, or 30. That's one way I think of helping me when I start to spiral. But I'm really, really trying to remember to be in wise mind, which is logical and emotional mind coming together to work at peace. Mostly because I've been going to Graham quite a lot, as we know, and he does not deal with my emotional freakouts at all. And I don't mean deal as in he becomes bad. He's just like, Liv, Rocky Horror, I'm sorry, like, as long as you're safe, he's like, you know, I'm out. And that used to make me really pissed off. So I realized I'm the one with the issue. So that's helping. That's a good thing. I am definitely a lot calmer than I feel like I normally would be. So it's interesting, right? Like, I've been, and I remember saying this to Andrew when I saw him last, and I'm pretty sure I said it this morning. Actually, I'm not 100% sure of what I've said exactly to who and when and whatever, if I'm really real and honest, because I'm so, like, out of it in a fucking daze. I'm just like, I don't know. But I remember I needed the motto to get me through quitting ice. I never forgot to not quit ice. Oh, fucking hell. Nah, that was like me having a joke or a dig at myself about fucking not making a video for a day, which I'm still more than anything just so fucking pleasantly surprised by how I've reacted. Maybe I am wisening and growing up in some ways. Maybe because I finally feel like I can breathe at the moment right now. But yes, so I wrote this email that literally, I wrote it. I like I said, I've screenshot it into Like, so it's one big thing to send to Faith, because she's so beautiful, and she's my birthday twin, and she's like me, spiritual, yeah. She's the one that come to see me, and I just sort of flipped out on the work online meeting when I'm out. And last night she messaged me and she's like, "Hey Liv, I know I'm not like, in your life in the physical all the time, but I want you to know I love you and I'm always with you in spirit, and it's a full moon and that makes me think of you." And that was sweet. So we've been chatting. And I was like, there's a lot that's happened. And I'm very recently, maybe not recently, I don't know. I was going to send over the link to the video, but then I've realized, even though I've tried catching up, I'm definitely not fully caught up on my own videos, which is interesting because I always have the thought, no, let's try this again. Sometimes I have the thought, most of these thoughts are when I'm sober, go figure, like, what I attach my name to is extremely important to me, and yet I post like videos of myself every day. I'm still going to say every day, because it is every day. I fucked up once, life goes on. And the way I describe this video now, and again, watch myself back and take some fucking notes. I absolutely want to redo the about page. My subscribers have just dropped completely. Like, I haven't had a new one in a long time. And I've lost about 8 in the last month, so I'm not sure what's happening there. But I did say that for a reason. I can't remember what it was. Right. Discussing my video. Yeah, right. I explain these videos more as a sort of, like, I'm documenting my life. That's why I made the video after I smashed my head. I just obviously wasn't coherent enough to fucking upload it at the time. But there was one, like, automatic thought that went through my head when I registered that I woke up on the ground, like, covered in water with Boss's water everywhere and bleeding. Besides the fact that where's all the glass? And then I looked up and I was like touching it, going, oh, that can't be real. Like, yeah, like I said, I'm putting it down to a miracle. It's just a documentary of my life. These are my very real diary entries. They are. This is very much my online diary, I think, is a good way of explaining it. Andrew though made some good points. He was like, once you get balance and you have some more structure, like, yesterday I think I wrote about it. I don't know. I was saying things like, once I'm like secure and I know what's happening with my home, because let's face it, security is probably the number one thing we need, besides fucking food and water. Yeah, like a roof over our head. Like, for me to know I've got somewhere to go home to. Like I keep saying, it would be ideal if these people who've bought it happen to also be working on other projects and they don't plan on doing anything with this one. I mean, who knows? Maybe having it rented out with a, not large, but not nothing either, is better than it just sitting empty. Could be a billion and one things going on, right? I have no way of knowing. And I do keep reminding myself that whatever is going to be is whatever's going to be. So thinking about it in my head in this moment, not doing anyone good, not me either. But I took however long I took writing that email. I remember like copying it, like selecting it and copying it multiple times, because like when you write in Word, it automatically updates. All my stuff does. Same as like my blog website, all of that thing. And usually with emails, they go to drafts, but there's been a number of emails I've written and then somehow have just disappeared. They're not in the drafts, they're not in the sense, they're not in the anywhere. And I take those ones as the universe saying that wasn't meant to be. But today's really fucking dude. Anyway, Andrew was like, at that point, because I have been thinking about it for like years and years and years, and it wasn't until last night when I wrote about it that I think I've actually said it even out loud to myself, let alone anyone else. But I would really like to join a like beginners tennis club. And I say beginners because it's been fucking years. Like I actually competed in tennis in high school and I love tennis. I would like to get fit. I would like to get healthy. I would like to be able to run with my dog. I would like to be able to ride my motorbike and feel completely stable when stopped at a fucking intersection. And I know I will get there. That is what I'm reminding myself. And the thing that I realized was it's the waking up that I need to get. Like all the self-help books out there and whatever, like forming a habit, this, that, and everything else you can read or Google or watch about, will say, don't try to do too many at once. Can you guys all hear my tummy rumbling? Like I can. I don't know if the video's picking it up. I fucking need to eat food. I have literally no fucking idea what to make of what I've got, because I don't know besides toast. Oh, and to finish another story, the reason I know that I fell asleep in I don't even know what fucking state is because I found Marmite on toast slices in like the middle of the bed, like on top, like the blankets were all fucked up, and I found my vibrators at the other end of the bed, and this was after Andrew left, and I was just like, what the fuck was I doing? So, yeah, that's how dead to the fucking world I've been. Like I said, I was so concerned, right, that I would fuck up after Andrew left and I would go back to sleep. But I knew that I literally could not do that. Today was the due date. And an extension on top of an extension, and now special consideration. Not because I find the assignment difficult and I want extra time. Truthfully, I am thoroughly enjoying the assignment, especially since reading the instructions again, and this time correctly. I should really double, triple check that shit. So like from now all the way throughout my entire university career, which is, let's face it, going to be a long one, even though there might be breaks in between. Like particularly after I graduate this degree, right now, as I currently feel, like every part of me is like, we're taking the next fucking year off. We're gonna read philosophy, research on my own, figure out what it is that I want to do. I mean, there's so fucking many things I want to do, so I should probably narrow it down. But I keep coming back to how fucking much I just feel like the world is like fake. It's superficial. Everything is so fucking superficial. It drives me insane. And well, let's face it, the other one that drives me just fucking bonkers now that I have flipped the switch and can see it from a different point of view. And I'm not talking about a jilted fucking, oh, the man I love married someone else kind of perspective, because I'm not pathetic, but more in a traditional legal binding power. It literally does more harm than good, in my opinion, and I would say there's probably plenty of research out there to support that. But again, I'm dealing with each fucking hour at a time right now, not however many years in a way my philosophy fucking thesis if idea will be on. It's always up there though. But right, I'm so tired. I talk to the point where I don't even know if people even watch half of these things, but I'll watch it back eventually. And it's good to remember, especially since I've been making such fucking small ones. So basically, I wrote this huge fucking email, took bloody forever, like, until, honestly, I don't, like, let's face it, I've been too embarrassed to say it up until now, but I think it was like 11:30, I looked at the clock and I was like, it's still happening, I still have to actually do the assignment, because I don't know when I'm going to hear back, and I hadn't hit send yet, or maybe it was, I remember seeing the clock and freaking out. Maybe it wasn't quite that late. I don't know. Anyway, I finally got it right, and I had just read it too many times. I was so out of it. I wrote, I'm really hoping that this makes sense. Like, this is, even writing this has exhausted me. Like, just the email of asking for the special consideration took it all out of me, yeah? Would have been 10:30, because I remember thinking it must be time for meds. And then I looked and I was like, what the fuck? I meant to take 2 when I wake up, 2 at lunch, and then 1 at 4, and it's 10:30, and I was just like, coffee's not gonna fucking do this. So I was like, okay, I've been up since say 6:15, 6:20. I was like 10:30, I'm gonna take 1 now. So I split the lunchtime riddling up. I took 1 at 10:30. That's when I got to the point with the email. I was like, I can't do this. I attached the letters, mind you. In the meantime, I had received the letter from my psychologist, very helpful, yet she had done exactly the same as what my doctor had done and not clarified why it was the day it was. And I'd messaged my doctor in the meantime saying, hey, I'm starting to feel really guilty. Look, like I've gotten my psychologist who says the same thing. I'm just gonna like hope for my best and like explain why in the email. And my doctor messaged me like right back, and she was like, I'm updating it and sending it to you now. And I was just like, you are truly an earth angel. I think those were my exact words, actually. And she sent it to me. It perfectly explained what was needed, that backed up my email that I am having today, all of the fucking 11th of October. The 11th is my favorite number. To rest and recover, which I don't feel has happened in the slightest, because I still feel like absolute crap and have been through so much still. So like, I sent the email with the attachments, thinking it's done. Oh, thank God. Thank God I'd already gotten changed by that point. Like, I know it's warm and like it's getting warmer and whatnot, and the days are longer. Every year I forget why I hate daylight savings, and then it's like 2 or 3 days in, and I'm like, that's why. Now I remember. Because it's like, reminds me. Fuck it. I'm not saying this because I'm depressed, I'm just saying this because it's a fact, and I'm pretty sure that many people who live alone would probably resonate with this. But when the days are longer, and his life is so much longer, and we all know the whole, example of trying to tell a child it's their bedtime, but then using the argument of, how's it my bedtime? The sun's still out. Well, as a fully grown up person, or someone who looks, sounds, and is expected to act like one, though I do not recall ever being taught how, the fucking daylight savings just reminds me of how alone I am. Oh, you know what I'm trying to say. Because the fucking daylight is just. So I tend to, once I'm finished for the day with school at least, I always put my electric blanket on. Well, I have been. I will stop when like it gets hot, obviously. But I put my electric blanket on when I know I'm coming to my room to just rest. I put it on whether I'm resting, studying, blah, 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 because it helps with the heat. But today, when I sent that email, and I thought to myself, surely with the backed up, like the brand new written letters, yeah, today and yesterday's day, combined with my psychiatrist letter and my letter from when this all happened and the email I've sent, the explanation with what happened with the police, like, I thought to myself, there is no way that's not being accepted. Of course it'll be accepted. And like, I had used the subject line, and I in the caps, like, I wrote urgent, please, need, response needed, thank you, all caps. And I was just thinking about how good it was going to be to lie down on my warm bed and turn Netflix on, because uni's still open, obviously, and I knew it would be fine. And at this point, there'd been I hadn't actually felt any anxiety. And on days where I don't really feel anxious, but there's a definite difference between gut anxious, which I pertain to the actual inherited from our ancestors of, like, we're being alerted to something, and then head anxiety, which is completely different. But I felt physically calm in that sense. What I had not even a little bit anticipated for, on the other hand, was an automatic response saying whatever it said, but I tried to read it a couple times, but the basic gist of it I got was like it's exam period, for any extensions or like special consideration, go to the links below. The formal application needs to be done with, like, and obviously I'm clicking, opening new tabs, going through all of this, and looking at what needs to be done and how long you've got to do it, and obviously being like super aware that like this is like different, like and there's no guarantee it's going to be approved. So I'm just like, holy fuck. And again, I think I was just so fucking exhausted, brain dead, and in so much pain. Like when your body is just tense as like, holy motherfucker, I don't know what to do. I know what I need to do, but until everything else is done, it's like, oh, fuck me. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, and the application process is a lot different. Not only do they need the letters from them, but they need more paperwork with their hair leads, this and this and this and this, and I'm just going, okay, one step at a time, just reminding myself you have to do this. But at the other point, I'm going, it's 11:30, and I now am actually going to have to make sure I have something submitted. So at this point, I'm not crying, but I think the only reason I wasn't is I literally was just too fucked, is about the only word coming to mind, to even be able to cry. Just trying to breathe. And reminding myself that those are the exact things that I would be not doing right now. I'd be freaking the fuck out and making everything a billion times worse. But then, thankfully, an email came through, and it was the unit chair, and she was like, her literal first word was wowsies. And then she's like, okay, so I'm here, I've seen it, I've read it. And then it's something, because I remember saying to my doctor, because I worked out when the results of the units are being released, so when we all get our marks back, yeah? And then I was trying to work backwards from that, how long I could sort of ask for in regards to when the results came out. And that's when I'd said to my doctor, maybe just ask for until Friday the 28th, and then that way we could sort of negotiate back to the week if we need to. And the email from the unit chair, excuse me, who is a saint, especially after I know how long the email fucking is. She said she accepted it, but changed the date to the 24th. So I asked her to clarify, because let's face it, I felt brain dead for more than just today. Even as I keep saying this to you guys, to all of you, I'm thinking, maybe I keep saying this because I actually need to take an actual day and allow myself to heal somewhat. I don't know. I guess I'll just take each moment as I go, right? So thankfully, special consideration was granted. I did not have to go through the huge process. I'd just written a new email to my GP attaching all this paperwork. I'd literally just gotten off the phone to my GP's clinic saying I'm about to send an email, blah blah blah. And it was like this instant relief when she said, is the 24th manageable? But combined with a tiny bit of confusion about the special consideration process. So I did ask her to please clarify for me that she was in fact accepting it for the 24th and that the date would be changed for where I submit and like ensured that it would be unlocked. And she did all of that and it's all changed. And I'm so fucking grateful, like so fucking grateful. I then thought I would try and do some other stuff on my to-do list that wasn't uni related, like update my workers. Man, I think I've been looking. I've only just sort of realised that I'm definitely not looking at all of yous again. I really don't do it on purpose. Maybe that's an ADHD thing I don't know about. But yeah, so I tried to do some like work stuff. Didn't find anything suitable. I messaged one person, but the post was listed 4 months ago. So I sort of asked like, did you find someone? Are you looking? Wanted to update my profile with all my training certificates, which I still have not as yet done. Everything hurts so bad, people. So none of that was done at all. Then I want to watch Netflix. Oh, that's right. And the laptop charges both, so like I really need to have to replace it as fast as possible. And I've looked multiple times, but I haven't bought because I need to find one that's either going to deliver immediately at like least amount of money possible, or somewhere I can buy and then go and pick up some point tomorrow or the next day, depending on what I decide on tomorrow. But for the rest of tonight at least, I am closing my curtain, closing the rest of the curtains. I'm going to watch Netflix. I'm rewatching Manifest actually, because I really liked it the first time. So I thought it would be good to rewatch something I've already rewatched, because it's not like I haven't watched it recently enough that I remember it all, but I also don't need to have like full capacity or even half of capacity of my brain because I've watched it. I think you know what I'm saying. I've talked for too long. I've rambled the fuck on. Ramble. That's what I think lately, that I'm a rambler, that people need to just shut up. Just tell me to shut up. Ugh. I think I ramble the way that I do to people because I'm lonely. Like, could have something to do with it. So, joining a tennis club would be lovely. Joining a community theatre club would be lovely. I love singing and dancing and rhyming to myself. I love musicals. Thought it might be fun. I really want to find someone to practice sign language with, so I can genuinely learn it. Or perhaps get a job. I keep thinking about work. There are only very limited kind of work I want to do, because truthfully I'd really rather be receiving it. I think it's absolute bullshit that I can't, and I've lived here for 18 years. I don't know what I've started and not finished. The point to my rambling story is my special consideration was agreed to, so done, everything good. Turns out I don't have enough brain capacity to do more than make this video, which let's face it, I have not looked at all of you properly. I apologize. I do appreciate all of you who do watch me. Like, I really, really do appreciate you, because I don't know, I was, I don't know, maybe I was too excited, on a high from, you know, how many subscribers I was getting. Now that it's not only stopped but going backwards, it definitely brought me down. But the rest of it in my head was brought me down a peg. Like, I'm not depressed about my subscribers. I'm not sure anything's coming out right. I have to study for my exam. I have so much to do. I cannot think straight. All I need to do is sleep, but I'm absolutely hungry as fuck. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna make, if anything, and I'm really thinking there's a fucking chance I'm gonna get delivery, because who knows how long I've got here. I may as well enjoy takeout while I can get it. But yeah, anyway, I've talked for far too long. But that's me. I'm exhausted. It is 5 to 6. Been on here for an hour and 60 minutes and 22 seconds. So I'm going to say good night to you all, and I will speak again tomorrow.